The heartbreaking toll of war. Israel's latest discovery amid ongoing hostage crisis sparks global debate. Imagine waking up to news that brings a mix of closure and sorrow. Bodies of loved ones finally returned, but at what cost in a conflict that's dragged on for too long? That's the reality unfolding in the Israel-Hamas war, where Israel just identified the remains of 2 hostages handed over by Hamas to the Red Cross. But here's where it gets controversial. As ceasefire talks heat up, accusations fly, and a key border stays shut, leaving everyone wondering if true peace is possible. Let's dive into the details, breaking it down step by step so even newcomers to the story can follow along. On a somber Sunday morning, Israel's government confirmed that the bodies belonged to Ronen Engel, a devoted father of 3 from kibbutz near Oz, and Sonthaya Oakkharasri, a Thai worker who tended farms at kibbutz Be'eri. Both tragically lost their lives during the brutal October 7th attack by Hamas militants, and their remains were taken into Gaza. It's a painful reminder of that day when around 1,200 people, mostly civilians, were killed, and 251 others were abducted, igniting the war. Engel's wife, Karina, and 2 of their children were among those kidnapped, but thankfully released during a November 2023 ceasefire. This handover is part of Hamas fulfilling its obligations under the deal, though Israel insists on all 28 deceased hostages remains being returned before certain concessions. Speaking of concessions, Israel has declared that the Rafah crossing, the vital gateway between Gaza and Egypt, will remain closed until further notice. This decision hinges on Hamas's progress in returning the bodies of those 28 hostages. Hamas has already provided 13 sets of remains, with 12 confirmed as hostages, though 1 turned out not to be. The crossing's fate is tied to broader ceasefire elements, like delivering aid into Gaza and figuring out how to govern the war-torn area after the October 10th truce that aimed to halt 2 years of fighting. And this is the part most people miss. Understanding the Rafah crossing is key to grasping the human impact here. Before the war, it was the only border not under Israel's control, serving as a lifeline for Palestinians. Closed since May 2024, when Israel took over the Gaza side, reopening it could ease access to medical care, family visits, or travel to Egypt, where many Palestinians have roots. On Sunday, the Palestinian Authority in Ramallah outlined new procedures. For those exiting Gaza, staff from the Palestinian Embassy in Cairo will issue temporary documents for entry into Egypt. Incoming travelers need to apply through the Cairo Embassy for the right paperwork. It's a step toward normalcy, but one fraught with political tension. The war's devastation is staggering. Gaza's health ministry, under Hamas administration, reports over 68,000 Palestinian deaths, a figure trusted by UN agencies and experts as a solid wartime estimate. Israel disputes this without offering its own numbers, while the Red Cross notes thousands still missing. On the other side, Hamas's October 7th assault caused immense grief, with 1,200 lives lost, mostly civilians, and 251 abductions. Now shifting gears to the ceasefire's future, both sides are pointing fingers over violations. Israel claimed Hamas militants fired at troops near Rafah within ceasefire zones, luckily without injuries. Hamas counters with similar allegations against Israel. Amid this, Hamas announced that talks for the second phase of the ceasefire, proposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, have kicked off with mediators. Hamas spokesperson Hazem Qasem emphasized the need for national consensus and said they're strengthening their stance, though details are scarce. Trump's blueprint is bold and divisive. It calls for disarming Hamas and setting up an international authority to govern Gaza. Qassem firmly stated Hamas won't join the ruling body, insisting their current government agencies are handling daily operations to prevent chaos until a technocrat-led community support committee can be formed by all Palestinian factions. This is a point that could spark heated debate. Does Hamas's refusal to disarm signal a genuine commitment to peace, or is it a roadblock? Many argue it's essential for security, but others wonder if it undermines rebuilding efforts. Adding fuel to the fire, Hamas rejected a U.S. State Department warning of an impending attack on Gaza residents by Hamas themselves. The U.S. called it a grave violation that could derail ceasefires, but Hamas labeled it false and accused Israel of backing armed groups in controlled areas. In a shocking turn, Hamas forces clashed with two such groups in eastern Gaza City, allegedly tied to looting aid and Israeli collaboration. They publicly executed suspects, drawing widespread condemnation for these street killings. Gaza's Interior Ministry, part of the Hamas government, claims they're restoring order in areas vacated by Israeli troops post-ceasefire. As we wrap this up, the Israel-Hamas conflict isn't just about borders or bodies. It's a tangled web of loss, accusations, and fragile hopes for peace. Does Hamas's stance on not disarming make sense for Palestinian unity? Or is it prolonging the cycle of violence? And what about Israel's refusal to reopen Rafah? Fair leverage or a tactic that harms civilians? These are the questions that divide opinions. What do you think? Is there a path forward, or are we stuck in this tragic loop? Share your thoughts in the comments. Disagree, agree, or offer fresh perspectives. Let's discuss.